What is going on, you guys? I thought what would be cool is if I shared a little bit, because I don't think I ever have, about how I got into the fitness industry. So let's take you way back when I was a young buck. Growing up, I was a rambunctious kid, like crazy, bouncing off the walls, very active, always wanted to be outside playing with friends, playing sports, just moving in general. And so from a young age, I kind of like realized I had a knack or an inclination towards physicality. I always wanted to be moving, and I really disliked being in the classroom. It came not easy to me. And so there's a couple things there, like also at a young age, I developed a very, I would say, poor relationship with food. I do remember when I was 6 years old and I lived in Georgia, there was a friend that I had that lived down the block. And at his house, they had the best snacks, man. I don't think I've ever shared this story, so I think the statute of limitations is up on it. But I once stole their spare key out of their garage, climbed up on their hot water heater, knocked down their spare key, saved it for a rainy day. A rainy day ended up coming. I grabbed a couple of buddies, we broke into their house, and we raided their cabinets. That was my first burglary, and that was also my first time burglarizing food, all right? So like I loved food, and I definitely had a problem with overindulging, I would say, my entire life. Luckily, I've always kind of been active, so I've been able to not really have terrible effects from it. But fast forward a little bit, again, always had that inclination towards physicality, always wanted to be moving, ended up playing sports. High school comes around. You know, my goal is to go to the NBA. And that goal I did not align with because I'm a 6-foot white dude and I was just okay at basketball. So I get to the end of sports and I'm like, all right, what do I want to do with my life, man? And I had already identified that like fitness was my therapy. Fitness had done so much for me. It taught me how to achieve goals. It taught me how to develop confidence. It taught me how to like build a little bit of muscle so I felt a little bit better about myself, you know? All of these good things. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do something with my life, I wanna use something that I am inclined towards to develop a business to help serve people. That was the idea from a young age. I know not a lot of people have that, like where the writing's on the wall. And so I feel very blessed and grateful that I've been able to get to this point, and that also I was able to have the awareness that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I remember I was really close with my grandfather. My grandfather, he passed away when I was 10. And his last words, you know, he had diabetes and he ended up losing his leg because of it, so he was immobilized, and everyone used to tell me how good of an athlete he used to be, and we used to always talk sports and trading cards, you know, like baseball cards and stuff like that. He had hundreds of thousands of them. And so when he passed, it was really tough, you know, because I was like my buddy. And I remember the last thing that he said to me was, he said, continue to focus on your sports and your education. And I like busted up crying. I remember this moment. He said, continue to focus on your sports and education. And to me, that meant like, you know, your friend's telling you to stay focused, right? And here he is dying of diabetes, and that was the last thing he said to me. And I remember, like, I knew it was the last thing he was gonna say to me. I was younger, but I could tell. And I remember right after, I went to the stairwell, right? I got teary-eyed, and I went to the stairwell, and I started running sprints in the stairwell at the hospital. So that's another story I don't think I've really shared. But there was these like moments throughout my life that kind of pointed me in this direction. And so every time, and when I'm having a day like today and I want to look back at why I'm here, or if I'm here for a reason, like I look at all of these little pieces of the puzzle and I'm like, wow, I'm right where I need to be, you know? I just want to get a little background with that. Like I got to college and I got like really militant with it too. Like there's been times in my life where I've been too strict on diet. Like there's always been a struggle with my relationship with food. There's always been a struggle with my relationship with fitness. So it's all been about keeping that balance and finding that balance in my own life so I can communicate it to other people. Doing the research, doing the work to then be able to be a better coach and helper for others. So that's kind of been a little bit of the journey. It's been 7 years in the making. And then the last thing I'll touch on was like Limitless, right? Why Limitless? Why did I decide to align with that brand and that idea? Well, I loved the movie, actually, the movie Limitless. I love this idea that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, and that you can have like clarity in your life if you're just down to focus in on where it is that you're trying to go and put the pieces together. So I wanted something that was like a beacon of hope for me, and I wanted something that was a beacon of hope for other people, the people who I worked with, to be inspired by. Like, okay, I might be here right now. I might be struggling with this. Like I might even be diabetic. I might have this ailment, but that's not like the final say. I can turn my life around and I can do whatever I set my mind to. Limitations only live within my mind, and I'm going to decide what limits me, and I'm going to decide what will not. And so that's kind of the brief story behind Limitless. You know, it's not easy to share this. Like, I actually filmed this video right before, and I ended up busting up bawling when my grandfather's, you know, when I talked about him being on his deathbed, and my camera wasn't filming. But I feel like being vulnerable is something I'm trying to learn. And it's gonna just only allow me, I think, to connect with people and my clients a little bit more. So if you're struggling with something, whether it's food addiction, whether it's maybe you're out of shape and you're trying to get back into the gym, and you're just trying to find your motivation or your will, you can do it, man. And if you relate to this story at all, I don't know if you will, maybe just comment down below, share it with somebody you feel like it could be helpful for, and you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm about to go work out. Later.